All right, hey guys, Sam here. Okay, so I thought I'd make a short video here. This is in response to a request I get a lot, right? People email me and they'll post it in the Discord. We have our March Madness sale going on, and a common request I'll get is, hey, Sam, all right, if you could only pick one or two indicators, that's all you could have, which would you choose? How would you prioritize them? Well, we sell 70, I think over 70 indicators, right? So it's it's like picking a favorite child. But I think this is a pretty good example here. Today just happened to be this week is such a good example here. I thought I would focus on a few of my absolute must-haves favorites. Right? So you're seeing what I would insist on I would encourage every trader to have, whether ours or not. Right? Just at least you've got to have access to these levels on the board. So here's Monday. Here's the opening of the week, and what you'll see on the screen here. Now I've got our toolbar, which, all right, now there are other toolbars out there, but ours is somewhat unique. It's got some features in it that you won't find in others and the free ones, right? So certainly you've never seen a video I've made ever that I didn't have our toolbar on, because I use these all day long. Additionally, I have a 21 EMA, right, which is kind of foundational. It's sort of like a magnet to the market. It's almost like a reversion to the mean for me. So I'm constantly referring to where is price relative to the 21 EMA, right? Again, lots of free ones. You don't have to use this. Actually, this is a McGinley, a 21 McGinley, but be very close to a 21 EMA. Plenty of free ones out there. But what I just would not trade without is volume profile. You've just got to see this, right? So. Now, of course, Ninja, if you have the order flow version, they've got I would tell you, a fairly mediocre one. There are things that we're offering in our volume profile that are just, they're unique, right? They're particularly useful to traders, and I'm going to give you a couple of examples here. So this was just striking today. So I'm making this on Thursday. Oh shit, what is it? 27th. This is absolutely striking, right? And when you see this, and perhaps you've already seen this, right, and made note of this. The movement of the market here on a day like today, it looks totally random. Like what? We're up overnight. We're screamed down half an hour after the open, and then we scream up and put in a new high, and then we're back. It doesn't seem to make any sense. Like what is the market doing here? Well, this is auction market theory, right, at its finest. So I'm just focused on today because this is just remarkable. So here's the first thing. And now this is a full ETH session here, so it's a little tricky to see here. Let me get the. Oh, let's see. Where here's 9. This is on a 30-minute chart. So here's the opening candle here. The market opens and we go straight down. You're thinking, oh my God, what are we on a big downtrending day? We come down here and we go literally to the tick. Of course, right? This is software, right? Only algos are this precise. We go literally to the tick, and this is the close of Friday. Not in the range. Pretty close. That's to the tick to fill the gap. Upon filling the gap, which did I take it because I saw this? I did take this, or I didn't get all of it, but I took it. I was running an algo on ASP, so I got a big chunk of that move down, which I was pleased to see. I had a busy day, so I turned it off after that. Right, I had a very nice trade there. No need to carry on with the day and risk giving it back. But that's beside the point. Look at the precision here. Unreal. Again, only software is that precise. Upon filling the gap, what do we do here? 237 ticks straight up, almost no pause, right? Straight up. And what do we hit here? Now, again, yeah, I know. I appreciate, right? It's after the fact. What I did actually is I drew this little box here. It's like, okay, well, where's a high volume node? This is how I left the chart, right here. Now, our volume profile, you have the choice of choosing to emphasize high volume or low volume nodes. On a 30-minute, it's personal preference, right? It's not too hard to spot the high volume node. So did I need to have our volume profile draw that line there? No, but perhaps if you're new to volume profile trading, it might be useful to you. I think it's just as useful. Again, your eye can spot the high volume nodes. It's just as useful to emphasize low volume, right? Some people prefer only to trade in low volume, which means what are you doing if you're trading low volume? You're trading the ledges, right? The ledge, because the market likes to move to a ledge, and if it gets through, it's going to go to the next ledge. But this is just again, just a striking example. I happened to catch this. So you've got this nice high volume node here, and the market is not making sense. So what is it doing? Well, if we're coming up here, what do we have here? We have this nice collection of high volume, which the market, it didn't spend a lot of time here, it would appear, right? If you're just looking at the 30-minute candles. But here, all of this trading right here, this indecision here at the close of the prior day, was enough to create this high volume node here. And we can see, okay, well, if size is going to step in, they're going to look to do it, right? That's why you would want to pay attention to high volume nodes. They're going to look to do it at a high volume node where they can, kind of hide their size. Well, look at that. I mean, just unbelievable, right? So it's the center point here. That's a 1 tick high volume node pushed to the right here. So, you don't have to be to the tick in this example here. Just anywhere in that range gave you a very nice location from which, I think I had. It wasn't a huge stop here, but this is what I did. Right? It's all I did was do it like this, right, and say, okay, well, if it comes up here, I started catching it on the low edge of it here. In an Apex account, right? It was already done with my account for the day, but I was like, oh God, I can't resist it. I can't not take it. So the potential here, and again, I didn't take it to the low, right? My target was to the value area high. So we come back down here. Oh God, look! And now we've got all this high volume here. It's not about me, right? That's not the point, right? How much money I made. The point is for you to recognize how significant these levels are. Now, it's kind of obvious here, but on a 30-minute chart, you can kind of lose it, right? It's like the swings are too big, right? As day traders, we want more precision than that. But for these larger swings in these high volume nodes, it's just it would be, whether you're using R's or not, you got to know where they are, because the algos are going to respond there, right? And larger traders, whether they're, if they are trading manually, right, they're going to look for those areas to get into the market. Right, because they can hide the size. Right now, again, whatever 95% of the trading is algo driven, right? So you think algos might recognize where there's high volume. I think that's a reasonable assumption. I think it's also valuable here. This is an ETH session. Let's go to an RTH. Now, if I go to an RTH, I tend to take it down to a 15-minute. And here, again, I'm emphasizing the high volume here. Now, I've turned on the initial balance. Now, you can get it over here, right? We're showing you the initial balance over here. But if you want to actually, have our initial balance indicator on, which, not many people make one, again, same kind of thing, you don't have to use ours, right? But if you're going to draw it yourself, do it yourself, right? This is just a luxury, right? To have a piece of software do it for you. If you're not using a piece of software to do it, you have to know where those are, right? Again, it's just like high volume nodes. You've got to know where they are. If you get, you're down into on a 1 minute chart, you lose track of it. You've got to have a higher time frame for reference to see, here's that high volume node, right? It stands out here as well. But you can see, you get a visual reference for what kind of day we're having, right? So on the open of the week, all of this movement is in the overnight pre-open. Once we get up here, essentially, right, I could just draw these value areas here, and you can see what the market does, right? We get a little bit below. Oh, we're gonna trend. Nope, we're back into the value area. Oh, we're going a little bit higher. No, we end right at the POC. The next day, right, it's essentially damn near the same thing, right? This is a trend. These are trendless days, right? We have a big move, and now the market's trying to establish value. Okay, are we holding up here? Is this where we're finding value? Okay, we're going to hold up here. Are we going to continue to push higher? Nope, we're not going to do that. We're going to, after establishing value up here and staying just range bound within the IB high and the IB low, beautiful IB trades, right? Yeah, I mean, I've done, 25 videos on what I think is the easiest money on the board every day, the first test of the IB, right? We call it the Madonna trade, right? It's the virgin IB. It's green until it turns white, right? So it's green, virgin, right? Get first test, boom, there's a scalp there almost every day. Now it helps if you're using a DOM or if you're using a footprint chart to see if there are trap traders there, because retail traders are off very often, right? They're anticipating we're gonna have a big trend day, right? And there are days where that happens, right? The next day, look, we pop, right? A little bit of a kickback and then a big trend day. On the days where maybe there's no news, nothing, right? Can we get through a day without Trump doing something to move the market? Well, here's one where we did. Maybe he's preoccupied with, his signal nightmare. Beside the point, right? So we get it. Now we have 2 range bound days, right? Big move up, range bound. Now, oh, big trend day, right? And we blow through the IB, right? All the way down here. We're going to start this trend down here. We're going to find value down here. Here we sit, right? High volume nodes. So this is just valuable for your own education, right? Okay, we're staying right here. Here do we finish the day? Well, it kind of carries through today. Today was just kind of wild. If I focus again just on the value area, what do we do today, right? We had a little bit of a push up early. Can we hold up here? Right? There's that test. There's that high volume node. Can we hold up here? No. Oh, we're going back down. What do we do? Value area low. Can we get a trend going? Nope. Oh, we're going up, value area high. Oh, here's the test of the IB high. What do we do? Right? It's just easy money, right? It's the easiest trade of the day every day. We're going to break it. Nope. We're back down to the IB low. Pardon me. It's not only is it the IB low, it's the value area low. Right, that's the green and the red lines here, right? Which is why if you're in a trade like this, you got to be careful about entering the market at the value area low. Same thing buying at the value area high. The algos they're going to be on the other side of that, right? Unless we can get a trend established early on, right? Kind of the type of day you're having is significant, but you don't want to be. I don't care what's going on, right? This is not a good place to enter the market. Just like the POC. At the POC, you have no edge here, right? There's agreement that that's fair pricing, right? So why do you want to enter there? I mean, I would tell you, right, the times to be trading are maybe the first 90 minutes and the last 60 minutes, right? That's when you want to be trading. In the middle of the day, you will literally just get eaten alive by the algos, right? So do something else middle of the day, right? To go bell to bell, it's just not worth the grind, right? And the P&L, if you did it for a month, I'm not sure you'd like your results, right? Unless you're just a precision scalper on the DOM, right? You've got a lot of experience, right? I'm sure there are people that do that well. But for the average retail trader, who I'm likely speaking to, maybe you got the first 90 minutes right till Europe's closed, then it's just you're going to get eaten alive, particularly on days like this, right? It's just chop, right? There's no trend. You get in, it goes, you buy it goes down, you sell it goes up, right? You're going to get eaten by the algos. You want to look for those early trends like we had today. We had an early trend and then the reaction to the trend. Are we going to have a day like this? Oh, if we're not, what are we going to do? We're likely, right? That's all we get is probable. We're probably going back up to the IB high, to the value area high, which in this case also happens to be the IB high. These days where we stay, right? You can almost see it, feel it coming, right? When there's no news, right? There's nothing to drive a trend. IB high, to IB low, to IB high, value area low, to value area high, right? That's all we do, right? Is just go back and forth, right? Because that's again, that's how the algos are written, right? They're just going to work, right? They're going to work. This is bait, right? Oh, come on, retail. Come on, sell it. Come on, retail. Buy it. Now, if you take this over, let me pull over to something that I would use, right, in conjunction with that higher time frame. I like a 2,000 tick. Here's MES, which I trade a lot, particularly in the high volatility right now. Oh, and I've got a few things on here, but really, you could pull all this off, right? I mean, there's no magic, right? These are all derivatives of price. What you want to focus on is price, right? Oh, what did I have up there? I had, now I can't even open it. Right, I had a cum delta, right? Do I look at it? Yes, of course. RSI, right? That's a TDI, which is just RSI and a Bollinger Band, and then volume, right? Volume histogram. Do I look at them? Yes, but are they essential? No. This is what's essential. This is luxury. Okay, could I trade without them? Absolutely. Could you? Absolutely, right? But as new traders, right, we're very dependent on them. You want to try and wean yourself off of this. I say that as a guy who sells indicators, right? You want to try and wean yourself to be less dependent on that because everything you need is up here in price. So if we look, again, I'm just looking at today. Now here you'll note that rather than the higher time frame, I'm emphasizing the low volume nodes. Let me turn the SMC off here just to get that off. Let me get that off of there. Oh, I had it off. Okay, there we go. So I've got everything off here. Yeah, okay, good. So this is the full ETH session, right? This is today, Thursday, right? So scream down early in the morning, right? Like what? Oh shit! What's going on? So we scream down. Are we going to have a trend day? Are we? Oh, wow. Oh, but we're not establishing value down here. Now we're kicking back the other direction, right? So we're going all the way back up here, value area high. Now, this is going to fluctuate during the day as more trade volume happens, of course. We scream up here, right, and we start to develop a high volume node up here, right? We could just do the same kind of thing up here. Okay, are we going to hold here and push higher? Are we? Are we? Are we? Look at the RSI. Are we? Whoa, sure doesn't. And we go into a squeeze, right? Now look at the time of day, right? We're getting towards Europe's close. Oh, okay, do you want to be a buyer up here? I promise you somebody bought that thinking, oh, we're going to have a breakout. Right, look where we are relative to that's essentially, it's a Gann high low, but you could think of it as a 21 EMA. It's just flipping from one side to the next, right? That's all it's doing. We get a squeeze up here, right? Which means contraction of volume. The squeeze is the best news on the board because what we know, we don't have to wonder. It's not in question. From the consolidation comes the expansion, right? From the squeeze comes the expansion. From the squeeze comes the expansion. From this long squeeze here towards the end of the day comes the expansion, right? So a squeeze is good news, not bad news. You shouldn't look at it like, oh, fuck, I'm in a squeeze. Do I want to trade this, right? You're looking for which way are we coming out of the squeeze. Now that's where maybe an indicator can help guide you, right? I try and stay on the right side of the color of the RSI, right? If I'm looking down here, well, I don't want to be longing it as we're heading down here, even though we're coming into the value area low. I don't want to short it here, even though you can look at it and say, well, what do you mean you don't want to short it? What do you mean you don't want to short it? It bounced and then look at that big drop. Okay, well, that's fine, but this is a low probability location to be entering the market. Now, maybe if you're entering earlier in the morning, right, and you're looking for the bigger move, but the anticipation is, and again, this is going to move throughout the course of the day, so that may not have been the value area low. I don't remember. And that's also, let's see, we're right into the open here. So this is actually where we open. Pardon my I don't do a script. So we push from the open. That was the initial push down, thinking, oh God, are we having a trend day? That would be somewhat surprising, particularly given the news today. But immediately again, right, as I just went through it, we screamed to the other side of the value area. We screamed to the other side of the range. So if I were to take this off, for example, right now we just look at it here in terms of the IB, right? Well, here's the first test of the IB, and we hold up here. So you might have been thinking, oh, okay, I guess we're going to consolidate here. And what is not uncommon on a trending day is we would go up, come back, test the IB, and then we go. Right, that can be a decent place to enter on the other side of the IB. But we get the opposite here. What we get is a perfect, right? If you've seen any of the videos I've done, we get a break and retrace. So, all right, if I do it here, right, we come right into a measured move here, right, which happens to be additionally value of having the pre-market on here. Well, that's the pre-market high. Now, if I put the volume profile back on, what do I have here? I have a low volume node. And look, it shows up again later in the day. What's right in the middle? I've got VWAP and the POC, right? So note, right, how it comes back to it, right? This is the mean. This is the reversion to the mean. We get a 1062, right? If you've watched any of those videos, it's just break and entering in police code, right? So we break this low, we come back, right? There's the pre-market high. I know you're saying, oh yeah, but that's hindsight. This is how you want to look. What you want to look for in the market. Oh, I'm testing up here, but I'm in a squeeze, right? Well, I go out of a squeeze a little bit here, and then I get another consolidation. Again, all that means is that we've got a contraction of volatility. What do we know comes from that consolidation? Expansion. What do we do, right? Value area low. More consolidation. So, the point I'm trying to make, it's not about my trading. It's not what I'm not trying to flex here at all. Right? I'm just trying to teach you a little bit. The value of having these levels on the board, you have to know where they are. Right? It's the same thing with measured move, right? If I were to turn these on, okay, right? Up here we're hitting golden zones. Golden zone to the tick, right? Golden zone, it's just over and over and over again, right? But that now I kind of pointing you in a different direction. Now, when I started, I said of all the indicators, which has to be on your chart? Well, okay, measured move does not need to be on your chart because I can get it right here in my toolbar, which is why, if I don't, again, having it, right? Well, I can have all of them on, right? But we made them all. But I can use this to draw them myself, right? So if I'm looking here, again, you just saw me do it, right? If I'm looking here, I can do this, right? So now I have measured move. So I don't need all of these on there. Right, now this one here, you don't see it here because the wick went through, right? So, but it's still valid unless we get a close above, right? So not to digress. But again, you see it here, we go right to target, right? Where's the target? At the value area low. A lot of consolidation, right? Again, if I turn these on, right, we do another and another and another. Look how many measured moves are on here. Now, remember, for every measured move that succeeds, right? If it's on here, it succeeded. For every one that succeeded, there's one that failed. Right, I could go back day after day after day. It's all the market, right? It's just over and over and over again, measured move, right? It is by far the dominant algo in the market. I've been saying that for 6 years. Again, I did not discover this, right? That's David Halsey's work, right? You can read his book, Trading the Measured Move. If you don't understand it, or, again, all we did was add the 65. Right. He does it a little differently, but he's the one who revealed this to the market, right? He showed this was an algo that we could identify because it leaves this footprint. Right? It's unbelievably simple. You'd think, oh my God, it's got to be. And God knows how many algos are running in the market during the day. But this is one we can all track. We can see it. It leaves these footprints. I mean, I could go back through the week. I'd show you 500 of them. Right? Every day, trend day or not, right? Measure move, measure move, measure move, measure move. It's just over and over and over again. Measure move, measure move, measure move. Now, again, if I had to only pick measured move or our auto fibs, which are essentially showing you those in advance, well, I'd pick the auto fibs, right? Because this is value for you to burn into your brain how significant this is, right? So there's nothing more powerful than looking at the end of the day saying, oh my God, look how many of them there are. I mean, that's powerful, right? But is this helping you in real time? Well, if it's a big one like this, it won't show until the market pushes away from it a bit. Well, you know that it happened. But just because it happened, right, it doesn't stay on the board. It doesn't stay on your chart unless it hits its target. Right? Again, for every you could have it show you all those that failed, and your chart would be, just full of lines. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 just today. And that's not including pre-market. Again, right, if I had to prioritize these, if I take these off, if I get all of this off, volume profile, you got to have it, right? Ours is, I would tell you, is the best, right? Because I can emphasize high volume nodes, low volume nodes. I can smooth it. I can add a TPO. It's very full featured, right? I mean, if you're looking at, well, what should I get on this sale? If you don't have our volume profile, I'd strongly encourage it. These, they're good, right? But they're no better than other things you could get, right? Do we have a good one? Yes. Is it exclusively ours? No, right? TDI is very common. But this uniquely ours. This uniquely ours. Right? Measured moves, right, are built into it. Things that you can do here, like a DRZ, I can just do it here with the toolbar. Dynamic reversal zones, right, as we call them. So lots of things to chew on here. But if I had to pick let's see. If I could only pick 3: volume profile, toolbar, initial balance. One of the other things, before I get off the horn here, one of the other things that's valuable that I think is underappreciated in our toolbar, if I want to just draw the volume profile, well, come here. If I want to just draw the volume profile, maybe I didn't have the budget, right, to add the volume profile here. Well, I can just draw it as the day's progressing, which I do all the time. Oh, high volume, right here, high volume, right? So you can see again. I've got our volume profile turned off. Well, what can I see up here, right? A nice high volume node up here. What are we doing? What are we doing up here? We're establishing value. Are we going to establish value and push higher, or are we coming back to the reversion to the mean? VOC, VWAP, right in the middle. Right, same thing. The day progresses, right? You do it again. Right, now, what do I got here? What am I expecting when I come up here? Well, here's again. Look up here, right? Again, I'm on the toolbar all day long. When we come up to the IB high, what's there? Oh, are we going to rally into the end of the day? We're going to have an end of day ripper. What do we run into? Pre-market high, right? The prior value that got established. Oh, if I can get it. The prior value that got established earlier in the day, right to the edge of it. It's levels, man. Got to pay attention to the levels, right? If you don't know where they are, you're just trading blind, right? And then it's wishing, it's hoping, it's hopium, right? Oh God, I hope it goes. Okay, I'll wrap it there, guys. A few things to chew on, right? advantageous, right? We've got this sale going on, so pick up the toolbar, volume profile, and the IB, right? That's what do we got? That's 3 indicators that we got 30% off on that, right? With the sales going on through the end of the month, right? So a few things to chew on. Okay, guys, have a good one. Good trading to you.